Welcome to our presentation. We will be comparing the article In Appreciation of Canadian Values by Rajesh Shukla to the three theories: functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism.
I'm Yaoyu. In order to understand the different and the same aspect between the newspaper and the functionalism theory, people need to know the definition and the effects of it. It has three main concepts: function, equilibrium, and development. At first, function means the existence of something has benefit of the social arrangement in order to help the society change better. In the article, the author said that Canada is a successful multicultural country because it's a political and social value. In details, people who have different backgrounds can have a fair chance to achieve the goal, and at the same time, those ability and knowledge help the society to be better in different aspects, such as education, economy, arts. Hence, those benefits are the function of the Canadian society.
My name is Halah and Noaman, and I will be talking about functional according to the functionalist perspective sociology. The concept of development or progress is often implied in functionalist thought. Social change is seen as gradual and usually in the direction of both greater differentiation, the development of new social forms, and functional integration. Through time, society adapts to its problem and it's improve in the process. According to the article, many people go through several steps or stages in their adaptation process to a new country. Some take longer than others to adapt, and this may be related to having lived life under very different conditions and circumstances than those experienced in Canada. In some cases, adaptation can appear to be long and painful. At the same time, all the years adapting to a new country can help people grow and strengthen family bonds. It is a period of learning new things. Sometimes people discover skills and qualities that they never know they had.
My name is Monica. I'm going to talk about equilibrium in this article. This article belongs to functionalism because the author identified the problem, and to fix the problem, they are identified to very specific strategy. It wasn't a theory. They had a definite problem and definite solution, which is very functional. This article talks about equilibrium in immigrant opportunity in the country are very important because once immigrants come into Canada, they should have the same opportunity and benefits as a Canadian citizen. Therefore, they should have an equal opportunity for jobs, wages, government programs, and education. Equilibrium could be between an immigrant keeping their own values and ways of life versus changing their values and ways of life to fit Canadian society. An example could be the Muslim women who wear the burqa and they cover their face. So should they keep their culture or should they change? The idea of equilibrium is that they should be able to keep their important value, but on the other hand, they should change to fit in the culture and country that they are immersed into. Therefore, the sense of equilibrium is important in both what people should be able to keep and what people should have to change when they are immigrant to the country, but also they should have the equal benefit as any other Canadian citizen.
Hello, I'm Zechao. I will do a rough introduction about the conflict theory. In sociology, it refers to the fact that in the normal operation of society or organization, because of the inequality between power, wealth, and the society of different social groups, conflicts between groups are caused. Due to these conflicts, that bring social changes about revolutions, political changes, etc. Besides, conflict theorists believe that social inequality is fair and necessary because it defines the dominant class and the positive cultural factors. What's more, they also suggest that because people have different backgrounds and ideologies, therefore conflict is also the construction of culture. For the article we choose, the cultural values of new immigrants and the call of integration have created conflicts. In my article, I will analyze the common contradiction in Canadian society and use conflict theory to come up with workable solutions.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Vanavan. Conflict theory is a social order that determines the domination and power is more prevalent and a need to implement in society rather than consensus and conformity. The Canadian federal government expects to welcome 300,000 newcomers in hope of integrating these groups of people into Canadian society. However, these newcomers typically feel segregated within their own Canadian communities. Instead of exploiting these cultural differences, the article suggests the newcomers are entering Canada because they understand the Canadian values and feel it's possible to still live their cultural lifestyle in a new community that allows them more opportunity. Conflict theorists believe that in order for these newcomers to be accepted in our society, they have to be first willing to support the Canadian values and become a productive member of society. They have to accept our own views first before we can begin accepting theirs.
I am Fatimah, and I will introduce symbolic interactionism theory in relation to Shukla's article. This theory explains how, by social interactions, people assign meanings to things to know how to act based on people's reaction toward their behaviors. In this article, the author talks about Canada being the perfect place to live in for immigrants in specific. He says, when immigrants like myself have an opportunity to interpret our identity, we should do that in association with the values of our adopted homeland. That is related to symbolic interactionism theory, in which how immigrants created comfort and secure feelings based on Canadians' welcoming and interested reaction toward newcomers and their cultures. As a result, they act more like themselves and not feel suspicious when practicing their culture. And when I say practicing their culture, I mean things such as wearing traditional clothes and walking the streets, or even open stores that produce or sell things from other cultures, like food, products, or even things related to their religions.
My name is Maddie, and I'm going to further explain the relationship between symbolic interactionism and our chosen article. In this article, the author emphasizes a need for dispositional integration to be put into action to make up for efforts that political integration may be lacking. This places the responsibility of the perception of immigrants in the hands of individuals rather than institutions. He says our goal should then be to develop the idea of dispositional integration, infusing it in our public life and institutions. This means that Canadians must continue to welcome newcomers with open arms and appreciation of differences between culture, since immigrants need to feel comfortable and secure when arriving in Canada. This enables a visible reaction in Canadian citizens, so reactions of Canadians can be interpreted by immigrants in a way that encourages a positive experience for all citizens. This exemplifies the theory of symbolic interactionism, since positive reactions of Canadian citizens towards newcomers will help to enforce a sense of belonging in immigrants. The Canadian discourse towards cultural integration reduces the degree to which immigrants feel alienated. This is another example of how symbolic interactionism relates to our article.